What's going on, guys? Killer6 back with another episode of This Gun Rocks, and this time we're taking a look at the Becca. Now, the Becca is a gun that you get by completing all the Hammerlock hunts in Borderlands 3, and unfortunately that's the only way you can get it, and that sucks. That's the only bad thing about this gun, is that you can't get it again on a single character. Not even by going into True Vulnerable mode and trying to do those hunts again, you can't even get it again that way. You can only get it once per character per playthrough. So if you want to get multiple copies of the Becca, you do have to do the Hammerlock hunts on multiple characters, and that sucks because this gun can spawn with different weapon parts. So if you get a bad one, yeah, you're kind of stuck with the bad one. There's nothing you can do about it. That said, there's not really a bad one. Okay, so let's go back a second. Let's take this for what it's worth. There's not really a bad version of this gun. It's just if you're a min-maxer and you want the absolute best possible version of this gun, you're going to be upset when you can't get it. But what does this gun do? All right, let's go with that. What does this gun do? So as you can see, number one, it slaps. Number two, when you shoot the gun, one bullet comes out, which is kind of further away there. See that trailing off projectile? One bullet comes out, and then it's followed by 3 additional projectiles. So the first bullet will hit an enemy right where you're aiming at. The other 3 bullets come out, and they are spread a little bit, so you got to find your distance to, you know, fully maximize the damage on this thing. But oh my god, in the hands of basically every single character, this thing is absolutely amazing. And I love this gun, man. This gun is a lot of fun. It's even better than the Becca was on Borderlands 2, which, you know, in my opinion, most of the pearls on Borderlands 2 were not great, but the Becca was one of those ones on Borderlands 2 in terms of the pearl essence where I was like, yeah, this one's actually worth getting. But most of the other ones were not so much worth getting. But it's even better on Borderlands 3, in my opinion. Again, the main downside is just you can't get more than one. So that is kind of rough. But what you want to look for on this thing, now the one that I've got here is a consecutive hits anointment, which isn't really the one that I would go with on Flak, because, you know, I'm not going to hit consecutive hits that often. You have like a 1 second window to keep getting hits with a consecutive hits one, and with this being a semi-auto gun, you have to pull the trigger for every single bullet that you want to shoot out of this thing. So it's not really a great anointment. So basically I'm pretty much using almost a non-anointed version for this video. But what I would go for on Flak is maybe a fadeaway active or action skill in, you know, additional damage, something like that. So let's go ahead and kill the Kraken. Look at this thing, man. Just look at that. That is such pretty damage, dude. You have to love a gun like this where, you know, everything just dies. And in the hands of Flak, this thing is an absolute beast. In the hands of Zane, this thing is a beast as well. In the hands of Amara, if you're doing a face grasp, ties that bind, stillness of mind, Amara, oh man, with indiscriminate. Anyhow, so where do you get this gun? Like I said, you have to do all the Hammerlock hunts. Let me show you real quick where you find all those. All right, starting on Pandora, on the droughts, you've got the Lavender Crawley right here on the map. Going now to Ascension Bluff, also on Pandora. Starting from your drop pod station, you're just going to go over here, and you've got the Scrack on Devil's Razor. Starting from Roland's Rest, you go down the hill to the Antelope. In the Splinterlands, starting from the original fast travel station, you go down the hill, hang a hard right, and then up here is the Phoenix. This is one of the most annoying ones. In Conrad's Hold, starting from the beginning, you go all the way through the map to the point where you'd get to the Slaughter Shaft, and then you've got the Manvark. Now on to Floodmore Basin, and if you start at Knotty Peak and you go across the map over this away till you get to Chonk Stomp. Probably the easiest way to get here is actually to go to the anvil, come back through the door, and run over here. That's the way that I would do it. Now on to Voracious Canopy. Starting from the original drop pod, you go down the hill, you take this hard left, and then you want to run over into this area where you will fight the Jabbermogwai. On Athenas, if you go almost all the way through the map to this point right here, you got the Chupacabrach. At Desolation's Edge on Necrotofeo, from the original drop pod going down the hill, you get to this little vehicle spawn station, drive down here, and you've got the Blinding Banshee. And the final one on Necrotofeo is in the final map, the Pyre of Stars. You have to go all the way around the map to this location to get to the Brood Mother, aka the Swarm Host on the screen here. And when you get here, there is a save station just outside here in this room, and you can use that to come over here and farm. Unfortunately, the Brood Mother doesn't always spawn as the Brood Mother, so it has to say Brood Mother in order for it to count. I believe the very first time you come here, it will be the Brood Mother though. So all in all, there are 10 total legendary hunts that you have to kill in order to get this gun. All right, now this gun has seen a pretty substantial buff. That happened back on May 14th, 2021. And what that was a 200% weapon damage buff at that time, which was basically enough to make this thing just an absolute beast, and deservedly so. Like I said, since you can only get one of these per character per playthrough, and you do have to go through the Hammerlock hunts to get it, which, you know, they're not all right on your normal path. You do have to go out of your way to get this thing. So it is really cool that they've made this gun absolutely worth all of that effort, in my opinion. Honestly, even before its buff, it was decent, but definitely the buff made it an absolute beast of a weapon. So again, this thing is an absolute godsend on flak. If you're doing especially if you're doing a fadeaway flak or any kind of flak where you're gonna, you know, take advantage of Megavore and things like that. This thing, like I said, is great on all the characters. Probably least effective on Moes, which I know when we first started this series, it probably felt like every gun was all about Moes, but it's good to see that there are some guns that's just, you know, not really Moes' forte. That said, Moes can still do work with this thing. It's just not really her most ideal option. Best on Amara and Flak. Those are the two that are going to get the absolute best use out of it, but can be extremely good on Zane as well, because Zane has a lot of critical hit damage bonuses. So that'll do it for this episode of This Gun Rocks. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, let me know by hitting that like button. Hit subscribe for more. Let me know what gun you would like to see next on this series, and I will see you guys in the next one. Y'all have a great day.